transgender? Yes, 1000%. Do I identify with my natural born gender? 1000%. So I connect with girls actually a lot more than I do with guys. No longer have an identity. I don't want to be made fun of. I don't want to be compared to my own videos because those are no longer me. I am stepping back. I've never been diagnosed with anything. The closest thing that I have self-diagnosed myself, I guess, is multiple personality disorder. I chose that. I chose to be gay, and then, you know, it didn't really work out for me with her, and I chose to be straight again. Okay, you're gonna tell me what I am, who I am, and where I live? No thank you, no thank you, not today.
Hey, it's your Uncle Herman here, and I'm still an alpha male. I've had a little bit of a makeover today. It might not be noticeable, but to be honest, I think that sometimes the less noticeable, the better.
Sorry, Trishy!
Now, I want to start this video by saying that I don't wish any hatred towards Trisha Paytas. My aim is never to paint anyone as a villain with my videos because after all, we're all just humans, and as it turns out, when we're given a platform like YouTube, we do some weird shit.
The animals started the world with God, so let's stop eating the animals. Here we go.
What I would like to talk about today is the many controversial identities that Trisha has sat on her floor and claimed to be, which, whether she realises it or not, can be quite damaging to her audience and the communities that she claims to be a part of. Now, there's an ancient saying that goes something along the lines of, please can someone stop Trisha Paytas, and I think that can really be applied here. I don't think that this woman deliberately intends to harm people, but that does seem to be a side effect of some of her content. Trisha Paytas first rose to fame online with her, let's just say, adult content that resulted in several of her early viral videos. She has also gained recognition after appearing on a number of reality TV shows, notably Celebrity Big Brother, and also has somewhat of a music career.
Reflect when the word became flesh, you knew he was fresh. He gave us his best, his son and his test. So thank you, God, for sending your...
But today I will be mainly focusing on the videos that she's been putting out in recent years on her personal YouTube channel titled Blind Sun Doll 4MJ. This channel has over 4.8 million subscribers, and she's been uploading on it for the past 13 years. And it has become somewhat of her own YouTube reality show. So Trisha's first notable identity was actually a chicken nugget.
I woke up this morning feeling like a chicken nugget. When you feel like a chicken nugget, you feel like not delicious. Well, you feel delicious, but you also feel like fried. Because the chicken nugget, I feel like it's the McDonald's chicken nuggets, and they're fake. They start out as pink goop and become a chicken. And that's what I am, a pink goop. And I started out with pink goop. And now I'm a chicken nugget.
Now, identifying as a chicken nugget isn't necessarily controversial or harmful, but this video did mark the start of something new. By which I mean it would be the first of many videos where she sits on her floor and proclaims a new identity. Now, as a vegetarian, I'm unsure as to whether the chicken nugget community decided to claim her, but another pattern you may notice with Trisha is her moving on from these videos very quickly as if nothing has happened. Now, before we get into the more serious stuff, I would just like to quickly highlight Trisha's tendency to be a little bit contradictory by revisiting this time that she briefly became an animal rights rapper.
And yes, I am an animal, but I am a mammal with a voice to speak. Who speaks for the chickens? Oh. For the dogs, for the cats, for the cows. We milk and we milk and we milk and they say, ow! That's my butter.
So what was next? Well, just hours after she identified as a chicken nugget, she posted a video titled, I'm gay, not clickbait, also not a big deal.
I have talked about dating a girl in the past, and I totally have, and the sex at the time wasn't something for me. It wasn't until like recent years that I have actually enjoyed it. I don't enjoy all the aspects of it, of gay sex, I've really come to the realization that like I'm never happy in a relationship with a guy. The only time I'm happy is when I'm around girls and when I'm in relationships with girls, and I've dated like a couple. I always thought I was bisexual, and now realizing that I'm actually gay. Is bisexual gay? Like I always just assume like if you're bisexual you're also gay. That's just part of the gay umbrella, right? Like I feel like the gay community is LGBT. I mean, I guess, like, I don't know, like, I guess it's like offensive because I was like talking to this about her and she was, oh my gosh, like you can't say that. And I was like, well, honestly, I just always thought if you're bi, you're gay, if you're trans, you're gay, like lesbian, you're gay, because it's all in the gay community. So I just always kind of like use that as umbrella. So
now, coming out videos on YouTube are a big deal. They're emotional, they're scary and difficult to make for the creators often, and in a world where being gay is still a crime in over 70 countries, usually they are quite significant in a creator's life. However, in Trisha's case, the general consensus of her video was that she didn't like relationships with men. She says that she's always thought that she was bisexual, seemingly forgetting about the video she posted a few years prior where she stated that bisexuality didn't exist and that being gay was a choice.
I said, I'm gonna be gay. That was a choice I had. I don't really buy into bisexuality. I don't think bisexualness is a real thing. I don't think that's even real. I think you're gay or you're straight. And I think you can choose to be gay or straight.
Now, I would never want to invalidate someone's feelings or identity, but given Trisha's past and present, it's hard to take these videos seriously. Also, in retrospect, we can see that she went on to have a very public relationship with a man. Now, of course, you can be in a straight passing relationship and still identify as LGBT. And so whether this was a genuine recorded identity crisis or not, we can't know. But what we do know is that she profited off of exploiting the LGBT community for views. So then, in August of 2017, she uploads a video called My Ethnicity Has Changed. I mean, the title alone is not only physically and logically impossible, but also what we here in the pseudo-intellectual biz call a logical fallacy. So she says that she doesn't think that she can be white because she has thick hair, oily eyelids, and people in her past have asked her what her ethnicity was.
My eyelids are extremely like dark and oily. And he said that's like a really like predominant thing in like the African American culture is like really dark oily eyelids. And he's like, I used to tan a lot. I used to be like, I just tanned all the time because I wanted to be dark, like more than just like a regular Caucasian person would go tanning. Like I wanted to be a different race. Like, so disrespect, I don't want to be disrespectful with my family because they did raise me, but like if I am black, like I would like to know. I think that'd be really crazy. Like who knows, like I could be related to Michael Jackson, like you know what I mean, like just like endless like possibilities could be of like this new life for myself. But would it change who I am if I did find out I was African American? Like if you woke up one day and you found out you weren't the ethnicity you thought you were, like is my whole life a lie? Like everything I thought, would my political views change? Would my religious views change? Would the people I date change? Like, you know what I mean?
You'd think we'd know about it if people could just change their ethnicity at will, but Trisha's here to defy science. And I mean, honestly, I think the hypocrisy of this video speaks for itself.
I've been going through a little bit of an identity crisis. I really never struggled with an identity before, like knowing my identity. I knew who I was. I'm a Caucasian woman, single, 29. But lately I'm starting to question that, and a lot of people have always questioned this since I was a young girl. People always ask me like what ethnicity I am, if I'm mixed with something, like you can't be white. I said no, my parents are white. And I've always kind of just stuck by that story until lately. I don't know what I am anymore. So everyone from day one, like when you look at me as like a little girl, like obviously my hair is crimped right now, but I have really, really coarse textured hair that a lot of Caucasians don't have. Everyone, like when I would go outside my city, would be like, oh, you have to be mixed with something, you have to whatever. And I thought it was like really cool and I like the idea of it, but I was like, oh, sadly, no. But like I used to go with it because I'm like, oh, it was like cool to be mixed because like no one in my school was like mixed. Even though it probably wouldn't have been cool, I would have been different, which I would have loved because I'm tired of being a boring ass white person. Like the structure of my body was just that of a, like, I know this video is gonna come across as a lot of stereotypes, but this is just what people have been telling me, and my body type has always been that of, you know, a thick, oh, my parents are white. They're like, unless like my mom cheated on my dad or something like that with a black guy, like, you know what I mean? Like, which could be, but he's like, no, but even like further back, I feel like you have something in you. And I was like, that's so crazy. So I did some research and I didn't really find anything like on like the genealogy charts. However,
at this point it becomes quite obvious that she's trolling, but to a young, impressionable audience watching that video, video, they're going to get some very confused ideas about race, to say the least. And again, it just seems like she's exploiting another marginalised group for her own personal gain. So now fast forward to October 2019, and Trisha decides to post a coming out video again, but this time saying that she's a transgender female to male, but also a drag queen, and also managed to discredit a whole group of the trans community by disrespecting they/them pronouns.
That's why I identify more as like a gay man, because I like guys, but I also identify as a guy, if that makes sense. The thing that kind of like stops it is I do love, which a lot of gay men do too, I do love like glam and voluptuousness. So in my head, I feel like I'm a transgender female to male, but also like a drag queen. And I used to always wear sports bra because my natural breasts were very like, one was uneven, like they were hella uneven, and one was really saggy and one was kind of up. So I always wore like sports bras to like flatten my chest. And I've always just been attracted to guys, but not straight guys. I've always been attracted to gay guys. So that's why I've like always thought I like, maybe I'm a gay man. Like I hate like over masculine energy. So like as a girl, I just never really related to that. Like I've just always thought my life would be easier if I had that part. That if I asserted myself, I wouldn't be a bitch, but I would be like a man. I don't love pronouns like they and them because that's super confusing, I think. Personal opinion, and that might be unpopular opinion because I know Sam Smith recently is like, I'm a they or something. That sounds like plural people. And while people think I'm schizophrenic and have multiple personalities, like I choose not to identify as multiple personalities. So do I think I'm transgender? Yes, 1000%. Do I identify with my natural born gender? 1000%. So I think that's where I'm at. So I think a lot of my attraction, especially to gay men as opposed to straight men, come from the fact that I kind of relate to being a gay man. I just want it to be a more normalized thing that you can be any gender you choose on any given day.
It got so much backlash that she had to issue an apology, but then instead of leaving it alone, she went on a medical TV show called The Doctors, where she managed to get her side of the story out once again.
It was just a lot of backlash, a lot of hate, just telling me that I'm a joke and that I'm not. Just imagine someone telling you you're not something that you know you are. It's really hard. That alone had me like apologizing. I'm like, all right, I'll just stay female if that's what everybody wants to see me as.
Now, Trisha has admitted that she does consciously troll on YouTube.
I used to do this thing called trolling. I'm someone who comes from the past of I was a troll. I've talked about this multiple times, and I can't continue this podcast without having to apologize once again.
And she has also been caught in a number of lies regarding her identities. Specifically, she said on this TV show that the trans video did not make her any money, but then we found out later on in the H3H3 podcast that she made $8,000 off of that video.
What were people saying to you on your YouTube channel?
Just coming for me, just saying that I was looking for attention or clout. I mean, the thing is those videos get demonetized now on social media. Like you don't make money off of those videos. Anything LGBTQ, anything mental disorders, you can't make money. So everyone just discrediting me for thinking that I would use something so serious.
No, because YouTube doesn't monetize like LGBTQ plus videos. Like if you talk about it, they don't put ads on it. Also, I demonetize any of my scandal videos.
A few moments later.
Private, but
It's all demonetized.
Hold on. Transgender, 3 million views, green icon, monetized, and I'm gonna tell you exactly how much money she made. She made $8,000 from that video.
She almost acts like she doesn't know what she's doing, but in my opinion, deep down, I think that she truly does know what she's doing when she posts these videos or gets these spots on television. Her shocking titles and claims will get her the clicks and the attention that she seems to thrive on.
I've always loved the camera because it always meant attention. Like I love attention, right? So like as soon as I see a camera, I'm like, and it's a weird thing. This is like a bad thing actually. Like any reality shows I've been on, from like actual TV reality shows to like the most recent thing I'm doing on YouTube with like Kian and JC's channel, like where it's just like a little reality show. Like anytime I see a camera, like even now, I feel like I need to like say everything that comes to mind. Like I don't have any sort of filter when I see a camera. I'm like, I'm gonna say everything I feel because someone's listening, you know?
And there's a saying that goes that there's no such thing as bad publicity, and that seems to be something that Trisha lives by. But the problem is, in my opinion, that viewers can no longer distinguish between Trisha being genuine and her trolling or performing for the camera. There's a dangerous blurred line between the on-camera persona or character of Trisha Paytas and the real Trisha Paytas, and it's getting harder and harder to distinguish the two. But I mean, at the end of the day, the transgender community is not just a fun thing that you can exploit for views. They are very real and a largely misunderstood group of people who are amongst the most targeted in our society. And if Trisha wants to adopt that identity as and when she pleases without properly seeming to understand the weight of it or have to deal with any of the societal pressures of being trans in modern day America, I can't say that I vibe with that. Sorry, vibing is a new verb for me, and I hope I used it right. I don't want to invalidate her feelings about her identity here, but Trisha is full of contradictions, and to have such a large platform and perpetuate this idea of what it means to be transgender is quite harmful to the community. And so in light of this, I feel it would only be right to direct my viewers to organisations who are actually out to help the LGBT community. So I urge you to please have a look in the description, and if you have a spare dollar or pound, or even just a platform on social media to share, please do have a look at the organisations that I'll link in the description that are really working to help these marginalised groups. So now we get to Trisha's 2020 identity, and this year she's coming for the mental health community, particularly those with dissociative identity disorder. Now, this is an often misunderstood disorder in which people develop alters, which are different aspects or states of a person's identity which can be in control of a person's behaviours and thoughts at different times. The person will often refer to themselves as we, and often they won't have control or memories when different alters take over. I'll link some helpful videos in the description of people who have this disorder who I'm sure can explain it in a much more in-depth and better way than I can. Now, you may have noticed a certain video on YouTube that people with DID will make called Meet My Alters, where the person in question will take the viewer through their alters, usually in an attempt to garner a better understanding of dissociative identity disorder. Now, Trisha, on the other hand, decided to jump in front of the camera and make one of these videos, but unfortunately what happened here is that she self-diagnosed herself with DID after 13 years on YouTube, seemingly without it or not addressing it.
And while people think I'm schizophrenic and have multiple personalities, like, I choose not to identify as multiple personalities. So
she proclaims to us that she has always had DID and, as per usual, perpetuated incorrect ideas and information about this disorder and did a lot of harm to the DID community, even at one point calling them crazy and singling out a particular YouTuber with DID and saying that initially she found them to be crazy.
And so many people will joke in the comments like, what Trish are we getting today? In actuality, who are getting different personalities inside of Trish. So this sounds crazy. I sound like I am losing my mind. Because when I watch other people talk about it, I'm like, they're crazy. Like, I watched the Anthony Padilla one, and there's a girl, DissociaDID or something, I think his name, she's British, and like, I watched it and I was like, oh, like, she seems crazy, but I know that's like what I sound like now, which is actually like really, really scary.
Which also interestingly shows that she's been watching YouTubers with DID, and so it's my opinion that she watched these videos, saw them go viral, and decided to imitate that herself. I think that the YouTube channel DissociaDID, a channel dedicated to informing and educating viewers on DID, does an incredible job of summarising this, and as always I will link the full video in the description.
Trisha's obviously not very educated on this subject or has misunderstood. It's hard to sit here and watch somebody, one, call me crazy and spread information that's very incorrect and damaging about our community, which undoes a lot of the hard work that me and a lot of other content creators in the DID community have done. It's a group effort, and it's hard to sit here and watch somebody who has such a huge reach spread such damaging information. And I'm not sure that Trish really understands how damaging this is. All these things are completely wrong.
But then what's interesting about this is that even though Trisha got widely criticized by people from all angles, and even psychologists breaking down her video, explaining how misdirected it was, she really just ran with it and kept making videos about her having this disorder, which is just really adding insult to injury. Another video that people with DID do is catching their alters switch on camera. So this is when one alter comes to the front, and Trisha decided to try and catch her alter switch on camera, which was just her throwing a packet of crisps on the floor. So overall, I don't think I need to even explain how obviously harmful this is to the DID community, especially with it being such a widely misunderstood disorder. It almost seems that Trisha is just, again, exploiting that for her personal gain. So unless Trisha posts another video whilst I'm uploading this that about brings us up to date, so I guess the question is, what will she become next? Your guess is honestly as good as mine, but I doubt it will be a straight white woman, because that just wouldn't be controversial enough. I have, as always, been your Uncle Herman. You can subscribe and like this video if you like it. Thank you for sticking around. If you've subscribed to me recently, I really appreciate it. And I will see you very soon in my next video.